I need books. And welcome to Surviving in Books, where life is nuts, so let's escape into great reads. I am Shania, and I am going to introduce myself today. Been on Booktube for a couple of months, and I never did the Booktube Newbie Tag thing, and so here we are. Got the questions written down on my note cards. I've got some visual aids, and I'm ready to get started. I'm going to tell you all that I can about myself. Question number 1. Why did you start this channel? Okay, the obvious answer is I love books. I love reading books. I love talking about books, right? I mean, isn't that why we're all here? Why Booktube specifically? Because I was very much interested in the ability to do long form videos. Like I have my Insta, my TikTok, and you have to do them in like 3 minutes or less, or like, what's the point? So I really wanted a space that I could do some deeper dives into books that I think were worth it. So I do my shorts still because those are fun. And I like to do my rapid fire book reviews. I call them review snacks. And then I like to do my review meals, which is these long form videos where we dive deep, go over theories, stuff like that. And I am pretty excited about that. Okay, question number 2. What are some fun and unique things that you bring to Booktube? Well, I think it's kind of hard to be unique because there's just so many people, but I guess the unique thing is me. I mean, I feel pretty unique. I mean, I have my own voice, I have my own view, and that's what I bring to this channel. So if it aligns with you, then we could be book besties. But really, that's what it is there's a whole bunch of channels and you just kind of figure out who you vibe with. So hopefully you vibe with me and I vibe with you. Also, I really try to keep things positive. I'm not going to like every book, but I'm not here to poo-poo on them either. I want to just say, hey, this book wasn't for me because of X, Y, and Z, but maybe it's for you. And I really like that positive vibe because writing books is hard. It is very hard. And I want to respect that the person took the time to put this book together. And even though it wasn't meant for me, I still appreciate the fact that they took the time and they accomplished it, which is more than what most of the people on here can say that are on books left and right. Okay. Number 3, what are you most excited about this new channel? I am really excited. Like I said, it's kind of overlaps with the other question about doing long form content and looking at other people's long form content. I like that. I do love when people do like tier rankings and lists, but I like when they actually have the time to explain their reasonings behind it. And that I think is very excited. And I also have found, because I've been doing the other two and Booktube a little less, I've started it more recently, but I find that like in the comments section, the comments are well like thought out and people have like strong opinions and they're thoughtful, and I just like that. Like I am in my comments all the time responding to people, and people disagree or agree. I love both. And we talk, and it just seems way more welcoming and friendly than I have experienced on other platforms. And that really excites me. Why do you love reading? Okay, I'm gonna give you 2 words: escape and appreciation. Escape because life, I don't know if you've noticed, but it's kind of messed up. I mean, you go outside and the world is literally burning. I try not to even look at the news that much because of the effect that it has on my mental. It's what my therapist recommended me take a little break because I'm getting so overwhelmed trying to figure out what I can do to help, doing all that I can, and then feeling like it's not enough with just like the state of everything happening. And I love escaping into books. And that is the reason why I can't read super emotionally destructive books. Like I have a post, short about the Poppy War and how I read the first one and still have not fully recovered months later, and am likely not to read the next 2 because I can't escape from what is happening and then read that and still feel that way in my escape. I am more likely to get that story in a documentary or in a nonfiction setting, but like in a fictional setting where you're actually in a person's POV and the story is centered around those particular people, and to see them go through all the stuff that they went through in the Poppy War, I'm just not strong enough. And I'm the first to admit it. I am not strong enough. That book is very well written, no shade at all, but I am here for escape, and I like magic. I like happy endings. I don't mind going through it, but I need the author to bring me back to the light at the end. So that was sort of like a aside about why I didn't like the Poppy War. Kind of went on a tangent. But yes, I like to read to escape. I love new worlds. I love new creatures. I love new issues that are very different from the issues that we're having now. I just love the escapism of it. The second word is appreciation. Like I said before, writing a book is hard. I am currently trying to write a book. It's a memoir about my struggles, or I guess you could call it struggles, but my journey with breast cancer and the chemo and the radiation and all the testing and all the stuff like that. I want to write a memoir about it, but like a little bit of humor. And it's hard. It is very hard to write a book. So someone who can do it and accomplish it and actually connect with people about it, I am very envious, and I am just like bowing down and just in awe of it. And that is another reason why I like to read. What book series got you into reading? Okay, so I originally started loving reading. I mean, my mom made me read, actually. We were at the library all the time because we couldn't really afford to buy books. But when I got to like, I need books and I wanted them on my own and I had to beg my mom to take me, it was Christopher Pike. I don't have any of those books because we said we're at the library, but I have since found these Christopher Pike books, like they're like anthologies of his books together. This is the first 4 books of the Last Vampire series, which was one of my favorite Christopher Pike series. And when I found this, I was so happy. Anyway, Christopher Pike is what did it. It was high school. It was thriller. It was scary. There was always some sort of supernatural to it. Escapism, like I said, because I was kind of a weird, quirky, sad most of the time kind of kid in middle school and high school. And the escaping into these books just did it for me. I was somewhere else dealing with different problems. And I think the reason why I liked this author, Christopher Pike, more than others is because he always had some sort of supernatural in it. And that made me feel less like I was in my world and more like I was somewhere else, which made all the things that were happening into it a little bit easier to deal with. And I just loved it. So I started with Christopher Pike. I have more visual aids, my bad. Then I stopped through college. When I went to college, I was just reading for school, did literally zero reading for pleasure all through college. And then when I started working and then I went to anesthesia school after that, same, only reading for school. Then when I started working, everybody was talking about Twilight. And this book is what got me back into it. Vampires, werewolves, need I say more? I loathe love triangles, and I think that this may be the reason. I didn't know I was going to be reading a love triangle, but the fact that I endured the Jacob, Edward, Bella love triangle and came out alive was so grueling. Being a Team Jacob person, we know that, right? That is the team to be. Anyway, surviving that, I felt a little bit traumatized by it, and I will not read a love triangle. If you tell me a book is a love triangle, I will put it down. If I discover that it's a love triangle, I am most likely going to rage read it because I am incapable of DNFing, but I will be very upset the whole time. And then I will find you and I will say, why did you recommend a love triangle when I have bared my soul to you and told you how much I detest them? Anyway, going back, the Twilight series is what got me back into reading. All my friends were reading it. We loved it. We saw the movies, even though I didn't really like any of the movies, but it was still like a very exciting reading time, wasn't it? Then I was a little like, because, at this point I'm an adult, I'm in the working world, right? And this is YA. And we don't get any on-page spice in this series, but it's very romance, love heavy, and it's closed door. And I was like, well, how do I get that, but like spicier. And then that's when I discovered the Black Dagger Brotherhood. And this got me into adult, spicy, paranormal romance. And then I just, the sky was the limit. I just went to all of the different things. We did like the Sookie Sackhouse books. We did Sherilyn Kenyon. I mean, I just loved it. I was going to, at the time, Borders, which they don't exist anymore, after work, picking up whatever the latest book in the series I was reading. I was going to Dragon Con. I met Sherilyn Kenyon multiple times. I was in the parade with her, dressed as a character from her books. I was all in the paranormal romance. And then I joined a book club and we started reading outside of my paranormal romance. So I would read these books on the side, and then we would read your typical book club books. And I liked that too. I liked having both. I liked the non-spicy, really good stories. And then I liked, like we read Revolutionary Road, Great Gatsby, stuff like that. And then in between those reads, I would do my paranormal romance. And it was a fantastic time. Okay, now number 6. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? And this is very easy because this is something that I struggle with, is balance. How do you balance? I mean, figuring out your posting schedule, your editing schedule, and then looking at other people's videos, right? Because you want to support the community. So I'm always looking at what people are doing, commenting on their stuff, giving them support and love. But I'm struggling to find time to read. I am a mom. I work full-time-ish. It's kind of part-time, but it counts. A wife, right? Gotta still have my wifely duties and all of those things. And my daughter plays travel volleyball. If you know, you know. And they're both in middle school. It is very, very busy. And then on top of that, the posting and the filming, like my reading has just gone, like the amount of books that I can read. And I don't understand how people are reading like 20 books a month. My range is usually like 6 to 8 because I'm kind of like a deep reader. I reread parts of it. Like I really want to know. That's how I can do like these deep dive videos, because I am like invested when I read. And just getting to that 6 and 8, I'm struggling with it, with the now posting and things like that. So just how do you do it? How do you find the time to do all of the momming, wifing, housing, working, filming, editing, and reading? All right, number 7. When did you start reading? So I actually started reading kind of early. I don't know when kids usually start reading, but when I was in kindergarten, I was reading to my class. I would bring books and read to my class because I loved it that much. I can't remember the book that I would try to read all the time, but I can see it in my head, like the orange cover, and it was like about this big, and it was a hardback. But for the life of me, I can't remember what the name of that book was. But that was when I started reading. But I really liked being the center of attention, let's be honest. Not necessarily the reading part, but I liked the fact that I was good at it and the teacher would let me read to the class. Then I really loved, I had to find this book on eBay, y'all, because this is literally my favorite book of all time. It is Benny's Bad Day. I found this on eBay and I bought like 3 copies of it because I don't know if I could ever find it again. And I need this. And I read this to my children, and I will read it to their children if they have any, which that's a whole nother subject of me telling them that they don't need to have kids if they don't want to. But anyway, I loved it. He has the worst day, and it goes through his day. Everything happens, if you see on here, like the toast is burned, his eggs are on his head, and he has the worst day. And then, spoiler alert, the next day is a good day, and the toast does not burn, the eggs do not spill, the bees do not chase him. And it was really like, some days we have good days and some days we have bad days. And I loved this book. And when I was little and I got this book, I read it all the time. And I mean, it's not difficult reading, right? Like a child can read this, but oh, . 'Oh my God. A page fell out of it because that's how old it is. So that's not ideal. We will we'll have to tape that in, but I have two others, so it's really not that bad. This is probably the version that I let my kids read. But let's see, 1986. 1986 is when this book came out. I am aging myself, but I was born in 82. Anyway, what was I saying? This was the first book that sorry, let me fix my hair. This was the first book that I connected with on a soul level. And it showed me that you can really connect with a book. And this made me sort of like reading, but not necessarily. I liked this book and I never found anything that like hit the same as this book did. But then I went into Babysitter's Club Little Sister and then the regular Babysitter's Club. But this, again, was mostly my mom telling me I need to read. She was very adamant that I be a good reader. And so I had to pick a book, and those were the ones I picked, the Babysitter's Little Sister and Babysitter's Club, because everybody was reading those. And I would read them and they were fine, but nothing really connected with me until I discovered Christopher Pike. And now we're back full circle to what I was talking about earlier. Okay, number 8. Where do you read? Okay, I literally read everywhere. I am usually reading 3 books at a time at all times. I have a physical copy that I read at my bedside. It is always there. Every time I go to bed, I read before bed. It helps me wind down, turn off the screens, just me and my book, escaping into whatever world, and usually staying up later than I should, and then going to bed. So that's my physical copy. I do not enjoy lugging a physical copy around in the world. So that's where I do all my physical copy reading. The second book I have is on my Kindle, and I have my Kindle in my purse at all times, but I also have the Kindle app on my phone, obviously. So if I'm in a doctor's office or at a school event, like a volleyball game, waiting for my daughter to play or whatever, the phone's out and I am reading on my Kindle. That is like my to-go book. And then my third book is obviously an audiobook, and that is for my commute to work and back, sitting in the carpool lane to pick up kids after school, dishes, chores, walking the dogs, whatever, all audiobooks. So those are the 3 ways that I read, and I literally read everywhere. Number 9, what kind of books do you like to read? I would say I am heavily towards, it used to be paranormal romance, but now more fantasy, because maybe that's just like more popular. So there's more good books coming out that way, but I love a good vampire book. I'm still about that life. So fantasy and paranormal, and I do like a romance thread through them. I just like that love story that kind of builds them together. It doesn't have to be spicy. I love all spice levels to like closed door. My limit is probably 3 or 4. I have a short about spice levels, if you don't know about that, where I detail each of them. And I am very passionate about that spice scale because I think it's the right one and I want everyone to adopt it, because most people's spice levels do not take into account people who don't like spice, and they will tell you a book is 2 chili peppers and it might be the spiciest book you've ever read because they read some crazy spice. Back to what I was saying, I don't necessarily need spice, but I do like having a bit of a romance thread. Like that's just like my home base. But I love to read fantasy books that have no romance in it at all, like Blood Over Brighthaven. It's literally the best book that I've read this year, and it has no spice, no romance in it at all. But I love it. And I also do like dystopian, but it has to be dystopian that doesn't quite feel super close to home, because then I don't feel like I'm escaping, and then my mind starts ruminating about the current condition, and then I tend to spiral. So it needs to be very different. Like the Hunger Games is here, in the US or whatever, but it's like it looks so different that I can still escape. Contemporary romance is probably going to be one of my least favorite things to read. I keep trying. I'm reading Deep End right now. It's like swimmers. And I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I think contemporary romance, sports romance, and stuff like that is just not my jam. I'm a bit bored. I have read some 5 Chili Pepper books recently because I never had, just to see what it's like. I read Priest, which I don't know if I'm going to Hades after reading that book because, wow. But I'm open to it. So, and I love book recs. I don't like finding books on my own and trying them out for the first time. I really like for someone to tell me this book was good, you should read it. And even if I don't agree, I still appreciate the fact that that happens. And that's the way that I love to get all of my books. And it doesn't matter the genres. And now that I've been on Booktube, I've been getting more of those and it makes me so happy. I have a list of recs that people have given me that I'm super excited to try. So that was a long form of saying that I will read anything. And I also like young adult thriller because my Christopher Pike-esque stuff, I really will read everything, but probably contemporary romance is going to be my least favorite, but I'm still going to read it. So everything. I will not read love triangles. Let's just get that straight. I will not read love triangles, and I will not read cheating. I will not read cheating unless it is off page years ago. I do not want to go through someone getting cheated on. It feels like a punch to the gut that I can't recover from. So those two I will not like, but outside of love triangles and cheating, sure, I'll give it a try. All right, number 10. What does your book collection look like? Okay, so I moved during COVID. It was kind of a lot, and we had movers, and I'm sure moving books is a lot. And I was just so over everything going on with work and COVID and schools and COVID and COVID and COVID and COVID. I donated almost all of my books. I was like, I don't need them. I'm not going to read these. So I am like starting semi from scratch. I literally kept my 3 J.R. Ward Black Dagger Brotherhood books and like some children's books and not much else. And I have been slowly rebuilding my book collection, but it's been fun. I haven't gone back actually and gotten many books that I read in the past, but as I read books, if I'm like, oh, I like this, I think I could read this again, I've been buying them. And slowly my book collection has been building. And I usually do that at like 2 a.m. in the morning when I finish a book and I'm like, yes, I like this. And then I just get online and buy it before I go to bed. And I usually do unboxings of those on Mondays. And it's kind of interesting to see what I bought because half the time I can't remember. But, maybe I will take the camera and like show you my collection that I have gotten this far, but I'm pretty proud of it. And normally what I do is I read a book from the library or Kindle or the audiobook from the library. And then if I love it, I buy it. I don't buy it first. I do have a few impulse buys where I've done that, and I almost always regret it because I still haven't gotten to them. Like I could have just saved that money. Like I haven't gotten to The Night and the Moth. I haven't gotten to Hunting and Haunting Adeline. I haven't gotten to Great Big Beautiful Life, and I own them. And they're sitting here on my shelf. And it's weird to me to own books that I haven't read yet. I know a lot of people like that, and that's totally fine if that's your jam. But I like to look at my bookshelf and see it as like my journey in the books that I've read, and having those books sit on the shelf unread peeves me. But I keep getting such good book recs from all of you, and I'm like, I kind of want to read these more. So those have just been sitting there, and it kind of bothers me. But anyway, okay. So those are the 10 questions, and hopefully you've learned something about me. And if you think we vibe, please like and subscribe, as we're always supposed to say. I don't even know if that matters. I'm new to this. Let me know if it does or doesn't. But I am just here to make friends. I'm here to make book besties. And if you think we vibe, please let me know. I am happy to subscribe to anyone's channel. I'm still figuring out how to find people. I am an elder millennial, and it takes me a little time to figure out all the technologies. But anyway, I'm happy to be here. I am very happy to be here, and I'm happy to meet all of you. And hopefully you're happy to meet me, and let's go on this book journey together.